Hey everybody. Hello, hello. Let me just shift over here a bit. There we go. Happy Friday morning. Pardon me. Well, it's Friday where I am. Getting a howdy Shaun. All right. Lots of people in the chat, lots of people chatting it up from all corners of the globe. Hi, nice to see ya. Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Miguel, Melinda, Milena, Jose. Trey Brown is back. Good to see you, Trey. Vivek. Who else? Zaid. Farbuni, Yasin. Diari is here. It's Saturday where you are, of course. Zainab is here. Hey, Zainab. Cameron Khan says, hi, Shaun. India's in the house. Rakesh. All right. Yeah, for a lot of you guys, I think it's Saturday. Coffee. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's Saturday for many of you. Saturday night, maybe, or very early Saturday morning. If it's very early in the morning, thank you for staying up so late. You guys are going to feed me some mistakes? Shaun Mendez, yeah? Yeah, some other guy, I think. All right, so hello. Lots of familiar faces here, of course. And I see some new people. Juan, you're in Canada? Juan Neeb is in Canada. Where are you in Canada? Yeah, I'm in Canada too. So, yeah, if anybody is joining for the first time, hi, I'm Shaun, and I'm going to be your teacher for the next hour or so. Okay? And I'm coming to you live from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Shiwei Yu saying, hello, Shaun, hello. Thailand is in the house. Well, I'm coming to you from Vancouver, from the Canadian College of English Language in downtown Vancouver. Beautiful morning here in Vancouver. One is in Saskatchewan. Yeah, cool. In the prairies. Chile. Wow, lots of people. Good to see. Okay, so, yeah, I'm Shaun. I'll be your teacher for the next little bit. Welcome to my class. This is going to be an intermediate level class, kind of the medium level. But of course, if you are a higher level or if you are a lower level, you are welcome to join and participate as well. Okay, so Chandra, I see you're asking about the class notes. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, or I'll respond to your message. I saw your message yesterday. Okay. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, throughout the class, if you have questions or comments, of course, put them in the chat here. Put them in the chat, and I will try my best to answer your questions as often and as well as I can. Victor is saying Vancouver is the best city in the world. Wow. I don't know if there is a best city in the world. I'd say I've been to a lot of amazing cities in my life. I don't think I could pick just one best city in the world. I think it's a pretty good place to be, but I think there are lots of other pretty good places to be as well. So I'm not complaining, Victor, but best, I don't know. It's up there though. All right, Rashid is here. Roshan, French Leo, how are you? And for Andrea, it's good afternoon. It's afternoon wherever you are. Cool, okay. So let's get started here, guys. Some of you may have seen what the topic is, but let's go in here. Rosa, this is your favorite appointment of the week? Yeah, me too. Me too. This is my highlight of my week for sure. Mecca is the best. Yeah, good call. New York is pretty great too. Okay, so today we are going to continue and kind of finish up with the grammar from Unit 7, okay, in the 120 level class. Okay, so today's class is based on a lot of questions that I'm getting from the students about the grammar that we've been looking at in this unit. And I hope to clarify a couple things because basically, hi everyone. Whoa. Whoops. Forget about that. All right. Wrong button. Okay. This is what I meant to do. Okay, so students have problems. Yeah, students oftentimes have lots of questions about past simple or present perfect, right? Students are always asking me questions. I'm getting questions from students. I'm seeing questions on the Facebook page about past simple or present perfect. When do we use one and when do we use the other, right? So students are always asking themselves this, and they're making themselves crazy. They're giving themselves stomach aches. Past simple, present perfect. You're losing sleep at night, right? Thinking about past simple or present perfect. It's driving you crazy. So you guys are sending me lots of good questions about the past simple and the present perfect. So today, our grammar focus is going to be to clarify really the main differences between these two tenses. When to use past simple, when to use present perfect. Because as we've said before, I know that for some of you, your language does not have present perfect in it, right? Okay. Now I see, Rosa, you mentioned the comma. Now I put today that we would look at some comma rules, but that's only really if we have time in the end, after we get through all of this stuff. Okay. If we don't, then commas will be next week, and that way, if Steve Lynn isn't here, he won't miss out. Okay. IELTS is driving you crazy? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, that's why it's there. They made it just to drive you crazy. Bon Cheng is planning for IELTS as well. Yeah, of course. Well, the present perfect past simple, maybe knowing the difference between these will help you avoid some mistakes and maybe bump up your IELTS score a little bit. Okay, so this is the problem. Okay, this is not the mistake of the week. I'll get to the mistake of the week later, but this is a mistake that I have seen this week and last week. I saw it as well. And that, what I just said, is a great example of present perfect and past simple. Okay, so she has emailed me an hour ago. Right, she has emailed me an hour ago is a very common structure that I see intermediate level students, and maybe even some higher level students, making this mistake, right? And as Rosa mentioned there in the chat, the problem is you can't use the present perfect with ago, right? This is kind of a mixture of how we use the present perfect and how we use the past simple, all mixed up together, and you get a mistake when you say this. She has emailed me an hour ago. So today, we're going to talk about kind of reasons why this is a mistake and some other ways of distinguishing or telling the difference between past perfect and present simple. Simikul Colombo is saying hello. Samo is saying hello. Lots of hellos. Rich Harry from Mexico. All right. And I see a lot of you guys are correcting my mistake in this sentence, right? And saying she, I don't know if I fixed it or not, she emailed me an hour ago is the correct sentence, right? But we'll get back to that, okay? We'll get back to that. All right, so there are about 3 or 4 things that I want to look at with the past simple and present perfect, okay? Finished actions, past or present. Finished actions. This is where we're going to start, okay? So as you see here, well, I guess I'll move over to the side a little bit. Ooh, right? Say, I finished my homework an hour ago. Have you finished yet? Okay? Now the whole point of this is that we use both the past simple and the present perfect to talk about finished actions, actions that are in the past, that are done, okay? But we often do it in a slightly different way. So present perfect, when we're talking about a finished action, right? Oftentimes with present perfect, the time is not important, or we don't know the time, we don't care about the time. The action is in the past at some point, but we don't know exactly when, and it doesn't matter. But we know that there's still some connection to the present, to now, okay? And we'll get back to that. Chandra, you're not annoying me. Don't worry about it. Questions are good. Machine made. Are you late? You're a little late. Don't worry about it. All right. No one's annoying. You will never annoy me by asking a question. All right. Well, almost never. Okay. So present perfect. The time is not important. Past simple is when we talk about a specific time when the action happened. Okay? French Lee, are you telling me to stay calm? I'm trying. I'm staying calm. All right. So check it out. Breakfast. I've had breakfast. Okay? Here you're using the present perfect to talk about something that's finished, right? My breakfast is finished. It's done. And by the way, my breakfast looked exactly like this, right? This is what my breakfast looks like every morning, with the flowers on the side and that perfectly rolled up piece of cheese there and everything. I'm sure this is what your breakfast looks like too in the morning. But I had breakfast. The time doesn't matter. It's sometime earlier today, right? It's still connected to now because it's today, but the time doesn't matter, right? But if you want to get specific about the time, you say, I had breakfast 2 hours ago, right? So when we use expressions, time expressions like ago, right? Ago, then we get into the past simple. I had breakfast 2 hours ago. This is a luxurious breakfast. Yes. Yeah, that's not what my breakfast. I usually eat a couple eggs over the sink, standing up, and then I run to work. That's usually my breakfast. Right. Andrea, good. Yeah, this is exactly what we're looking at here, right? Okay, so well, Betul Yilmaz, it's a pleasure to have you in class. Thanks for joining. All right, so specific past time, use the past simple. Okay, let me show you another example. Istanbul. Here we're talking about amazing cities. Istanbul is an amazing city. I've been to Istanbul twice, right? So I'm using present perfect there because I'm talking about the past. It's not really specific on when I was there, but I'm talking about my life experience, okay? But if I want to get specific about the time, I'm going to switch to past simple and say I went to Istanbul in 2012 and again last year. All right, Rose is saying, I always think the present perfect is something that is not finished. That's why I get confused. Well, good question, Rosa, and we'll come back to that because sometimes that's true. Sometimes when we use the present perfect, the action is not finished. Okay, we'll get back to that. You used to live in Istanbul, Betul. It's a great city. Yeah. So the point is, and this is important, this is why students get confused, and this goes back to Rosa's question, guys, is that there are many different ways that we use the present perfect, and some of them have contradictory rules and uses, right? Sometimes we use it when the action is finished, right? Sometimes we use it when the action isn't finished. So that's where the confusion is. I know, it's a tough tense, yeah, but I like it. I use it all the time. Okay, let me give you one more example. Oh yeah, by the way, this is talking about experience. We'll come back to talk about experience soon. French Leo saying, I've had breakfast. Do you mean the breakfast is finished? Yes. Yeah. If I say I've had breakfast today, that means the breakfast is done, but today is not done, right? And I don't really care about what time I had breakfast. Good question, French Leo. Okay, so look at this cutie. He has gone to bed. Okay, clearly. He has gone to bed. He's sleeping now, right? So we say he has gone to bed. Again, it doesn't matter what time. We don't care what time. We don't know what time. But if you want to get specific about a specific time, you say he went to bed at 7 o'clock. So lots of these prepositional phrases like, right, at 7 o'clock on Friday, in January. These very specific times, you're using past simple. Good, good, good. All right. Ferdy, he has gone to hell. I don't know, I'm not sure who you're talking about there. But the present perfect, actions that happen during a time period that is unfinished. Now this is what we just talked about, is that when we say breakfast, I've eaten breakfast, we're talking about today, right? Vivek is saying he has been sleeping since 7 o'clock. Yes, and I'll come back to that because that's duration. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. Right now, we're just looking at finished actions, right? So again, if you look at this, he has gone to bed. Going to bed is a finished action. He is in bed now. So going to bed is finished, right? But there's still a connection to the present. Am I at 107 viewers? Is that a new record? All right. I better do well today then. Yeah, pressure's on. All right. Cool. I'm sure that 30 of those are just my family. All right. So, talking with the present perfect, where the time is unfinished, right? So what do I mean by that? If we look at these sentences, I've eaten breakfast today. Since yesterday, I have received 10 friendship requests on Facebook. Yay, I'm popular, right? And I haven't been on vacation yet this year. Well, it's only January, so it's early, right? But if you look at these sentences, each one has a time expression in there, today, since yesterday, and this year. All of these time expressions, words or phrases, mean that the time is not finished. Today is not finished. Since yesterday brings it up until and including now. And this year is obviously unfinished. This month is another one that you guys are saying there. Right, perfect. Okay? And because the time is unfinished, it's still connected to now, we use the present perfect. Okay? All right, we got somebody from Vietnam in the house, Ecuador. All right, good stuff. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, guys. Let me pop out of here and go to the notes. So these sentences in the present perfect, right? I've eaten breakfast today. If I want to change this time to a finished time in the past, okay? Today is not finished, but yesterday is finished, right? And because yesterday is finished, I cannot say that, okay? I cannot say I've eaten breakfast yesterday. This has to become, it has to become the past simple, okay? I ate breakfast yesterday. Sarah, when you use been, maybe you're talking about the passive voice? Passive voice, maybe? Okay, that's kind of a broad question, though, Sarah. I ate breakfast yesterday, Vivek said, yeah? I ate breakfast yesterday as well. Good. So the same thing here, and actually maybe let me copy this so that we can kind of see it side by side. Since yesterday, I have received 10 requests, right? That means that when you use since, it's including now, right now, okay? But if I take that away, and again, if I just go to yesterday, I received 10 friendship requests. Slane has got it there. I received, good. Good for you. Good, good, good. This is excellent. And the last one, I haven't been on vacation yet this year. If I want to change this to, actually let me copy it again. If I want to put this in the finished time, right? Because this year is unfinished. It's still this year, okay? If I want to say last year, I haven't been on vacation yet last year. Obviously, that's a big, big mistake. So you say, I didn't go on vacation, and you got to get that yet out of there too. I didn't go on vacation last year. One is saying, what type of sentence is number 2? This one, well, this one, that is present perfect, I have received, and this is past simple. And Rose is saying, I haven't had much free time this year. That is a perfect sentence, Rosa. Good for you. Good. Esma says, I've lived in Istanbul since I was born. Perfect. Perfect sentence. French Leo is talking about killing the sheriff. I don't know why. You guys have sheriffs in France? Okay. All right, so how about this? Just so we know we're on the same page with this one, before we move on to the next point, how about this? I'm going to get you guys to do something for me, real quick, right? Keep it simple. I want you to answer these questions in full sentences, but there are 2 parts, okay? This is, what is something you haven't done this week, and what is something you didn't do last week? So just give me 2 sentences, okay? Answering both of these questions, right? What is something you haven't done this week? What is something you didn't do last week? So that you use present perfect and past simple, okay? Minthong Duong is saying, how can we contract? Contract what? Minthong, can you specify? Tell me exactly what you mean. What do you want to contract? Okay, let me move this over a bit. So write these in the chat, guys. Answer these questions. What is something you haven't done this week? What is something you didn't do last week? I'm going to pop off the screen. I'm going to disappear for about 1 minute, and I want to see some answers in the chat here. Okay, guys? All right, I'm going to pop out of here, get to work, answer these questions for me. Okay, go for it. Good stuff, guys. Lots of good stuff coming in. I'm going to go through some of this here because we've got lots to do today. Okay, so let me put some people's answers. Lots of good answers in there. What do we got for the first one? I think. Let me see. Daniela said, I haven't gone to the gym this week. I think you put a sad kitty cat in there too. Crying kitty cat from Daniela, right? I haven't gone to the gym this week. Great sentence. Great sentence about this week. I could take her sentence and say, I didn't go to the gym last week, right? This week versus last week. Present perfect versus past simple. Good. Let me see another one. French Leo, I haven't listened to all of the YouTube Smart classes this week. Okay, that's okay. Painkiller. He's saying, I haven't gone to the cinema yet this week. Good one. So again, when you use that word yet, that sounds like Painkiller thinks that he is going to go to the cinema at some point this week. That's what it sounds like to me. Good. And again, you can take that sentence about last week and say, I didn't go to the cinema last week. Good stuff, guys. All right, what else do we have? Trey Brown hasn't played pool this week. Are you a pool shark, Trey Brown? You playing people taking their money? All right, what is something you've done recently? What's something you have done recently? Cameron Khan is saying, I have learned a lot about the present perfect. Right, that one's a good one. I have learned a lot about the present perfect. Right, he's talking about recently. That's good. That's really good. What about something you did last night? What's something you guys did last night? Zainab, I ate chips last night. That sounds like a perfect night to me. What could be better than a night? Staying home, eating chips. All right. Andrea said, I have gone to the cinema. Probably want to say I have been to the cinema, Andrea, unless you are at the cinema right now. Slane's ate pizza last night. Drunk a cup of tea, Painkiller says. Who else we got there? Anka, I have studied for an exam recently. Okay, now good. Okay, so Anka, I'm going to put your sentence up there, and you say, I made the exam 4 hours ago. Okay, that's pretty good talking about the past here. Not really about last night, but that's okay. But just make sure you don't say I made the exam. You can say I took the exam. Ankono slept last night. Good for you. Rena Jackson went to the pub last night. Well, that's a good way to spend the night too. All right, and the last one here says, who is someone you've spoken to today? Well, some of you have spoken to Shaun today, right? Kind of. You chatted with me a little bit. Melania has spoken to her friend today. Good. Fanny France called a friend. Good for you. Machine made. I'm not going to repeat that one, but that's fine. Vivek, some of your sentences went a little toward the dark side as well. That's fine. Okay, and who is someone you spoke to yesterday? You could say anything. Yesterday, I spoke to my mom. Okay? Just important to know that difference between present perfect and past simple with finished actions. Mona Dream is saying, I forgot to make my sentence negative. That's okay. Amit saw a horror movie last night. Ankuno has eaten cake today. Well, it's probably later in the day for you than me. It's only 9:30 for me, so it's a little bit early for cake. But good. Okay, this is excellent, guys. Let's go into my next point here. Okay, to clarify the difference between past simple and present perfect. Slanez, you spoke to your pet. Good. Yes, and watched the game. Game on what location? You mean where am I physically? I'm in Vancouver, if that's your question. Okay, so details of experiences. So we've talked about experience recently, okay? Just a few weeks ago, we spoke about using the present perfect to describe experiences. Aaron Young, you're celebrating the Lunar New Year? Yeah, cool. I guess it is the Lunar New Year, isn't it? So present perfect, we use to talk about past experience, okay? Because your experience is still connected to now because it's your life, okay? So life experience, we use the present perfect to talk about in general, right? Okay, for example, I have seen 2 of the movies nominated for an Academy Award, okay? I saw one of those movies last night, and this brings me to the next part. Past simple, we use to describe the details of the experience, okay? So if you're talking about the specifics, when, where, how, who, right? If you're getting more detailed, oftentimes we use the past simple. For example, I've already seen that movie. Okay. La La Land, Miguel saw? Yeah? I've already seen that movie. This is just an experience. This is something you have done in the past, right? But if you want to give more information about when, then you switch to the past simple. So you start with present perfect. I've already seen that movie, right? And then Leslie and I went to see it last Tuesday. Okay, I don't know who Leslie is, but I went to the movie with her. All right, yeah, I've seen some good example sentences coming in. So again, in the first one I'm using present perfect because I'm just talking about some experience I've had in the past. We don't know exactly when, okay? Second sentence I'm using past simple because I'm saying specifically this was last Tuesday, okay? This is very similar to my first example about Istanbul, right? We always start with experience. We start with the present perfect. Have you been to Istanbul? Oh, really? When did you go, right? We switch to past simple. Right, so Cameron is saying experience of living people, not dead people. So that's why I'm talking about your experience, okay? If you're talking about someone who is not alive anymore, as Cameron said, absolutely you only speak in the past simple because that time is finished, right? That time is finished. Yasin has been to New York. You've been to New York. When were you in New York? Right? When were you in New York? She has met me before, right? Past experience. We met at a party last year. So again, present perfect. Yes, she has met me. All right? And then when you get specific, we met at a party last year. Okay? Now I should point out here, oftentimes with present perfect, when we're talking about experience, we use that word before, right? I've never done this before. French Leo has seen Paris. Yeah, me too. I have seen Paris as well. Yeah, Melinda Rosa asked Shaun again. Yeah, what question did I miss? I've broken my leg. I broke my leg this morning, Rosa's asking. Okay. Rosa, I think you're talking about that. That's kind of when we can sometimes decide, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, we can decide if the time is finished or not, right? Sometimes we say today to mean it's unfinished, but if it's at the end of the day, we can use it as kind of a finished time, right? If that's your question. Okay. So, again, we met at a party last year. The specifics of the experience. Have you ever gone skydiving? Katie's tried skydiving. Experience. Present perfect, right? She did it on vacation in California a couple years ago. Melinda, good question, but that's not really connected to what we're talking about yet. So if I have time, remind me at the end of class that question, and I'll try to answer that, okay? Cameron is saying ever and never. We use that for experience as well, right? I have never tried skydiving. Okay. Nitesh has never gone. I have never gone skydiving either. I'm kind of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy. I like my feet on the floor. Yeah. Okay. So this is how it works, right? General experience, present perfect. Specific detail about experience, past simple. Okay. Vivek says, I have learned a lot from Shaun. Yeah, when? No, I'm joking. I'm trying to get specifics from you. Okay, so let me see some stuff from you guys, okay? Let me go down here. Let me make that a little smaller. Again, I want you to write me 2 sentences for each of these topics, okay? I want you to give me 1 sentence about the experience in present perfect, and then 1 detail in past simple. So a movie you have seen. For example, I said, I have seen 2 of the movies nominated for Oscars, which is the award for movies this year. Okay, I have seen 2 of the movies nominated for Oscars this year. That's my first sentence with present perfect. My next sentence with past simple, I watched one last night at the cinema. A movie called Manchester by the Sea. Excellent movie. Pretty heavy though, pretty hard to watch at times. Okay, very dramatic. All right, guys, so give me some sentences of your own. One about a movie, one about an accident. Nothing too serious, hopefully. The time you, I don't know, you cut your finger or something. And then another country you've been to. Okay, give me some sentences. And again, I'm going to disappear from the screen for about 1 minute. I'm going to drink some coffee and watch your answers come into the chat. And then I'll be back and we'll talk about it together. Okay? All right, get to work. Give me some example sentences about experience. Present perfect and past simple. Okay? Go for it. All right. Good, good, good. We'll just keep moving along, keep trucking along. Did I see something about Titanic in there? Somebody's talking about Titanic? All right. So let me see some sentences here. A movie you've seen. I guess I put the answer up there for that one. A lot of you guys. Abdulaziz says I've seen Spider-Man 4 times. Good. Good for you. Yeah, those are good movies. What do we have here for movies? Melena says he has seen La La Land today. Okay, that's good. Because today's not finished. French Leo says, I have seen the last Star Wars, and I saw the last Star Wars. That's good. Good. Now again, looking for more with the second sentence, was looking for more specific time detail here. Okay, so somebody said in there, I have had, we'll say minor car accidents, for example. That's not me, this is just an example. Don't worry, I'm okay. I have had 2 minor accidents in my life. Oh, Aaron Young is saying, I have had several car accidents. Now Aaron, be careful. This is what we're talking about. So you can't say a couple years ago with the present perfect, right? It has to be, I had the car accidents a couple years ago, right? So, Aaron, this is for you, right? I have had, we'll say, a couple car accidents, okay? In my life, I had a couple car accidents. Something like 2 years ago. So you had 2 accidents in around the same time. I had a couple car accidents 2 years ago. Now this is past simple. This is more specific. Okay? Good one, Aaron. Thanks for that. Beautiful, beautiful mistake. I love that mistake. Trey Brown, the last movie he saw was Sing. So he has seen Sing. Was it good, Trey? All right. What about the country? Let me see. Let me see here. I think Batul said you have been to Greece, right? Victor, I think, said you have been to Germany. Yeah. Germany's a great country. Berlin is one of, we were talking about great cities today. Berlin is one of my favorite cities in the world. All right, let me see another country. What do we have here? Okay, this is perfect. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to steal it. All right, Zainab, I think that's yours. Wow, look how small that is. Where am I here? Make that nice and big. So this is from Zainab. I have been to France this year. I went to France last month. That's perfect. And even in this case, you don't even really need that. Okay, I have been to France for experience. I went to France last month. Rosa's saying my chat didn't work. Well, it looks like it works now, right? Okay. Diari says I have been to many countries. I went to New Zealand last year. Perfect. Unkanu has been to Egypt. Nitish has never been out of India. Well, that's okay. I've never been to India, but I hear India is an amazing country. Rose has been to Australia. Yesin has been to Marrakesh. This is great, guys. This is really good. Okay, so this is experience. There's one more thing with present perfect and past simple that we need to discuss, and that is duration. Okay, duration. Now, we talked about duration a couple weeks ago. Duration means how long, right? When you're talking about measuring the time period, right? Turkish is a language. Yeah, Turkey is the country. Turkish is the language. Absolutely. Okay, so duration, past or present. We can talk about how long when we're talking with present perfect or past simple, okay? But sometimes we do it a little bit differently. Now, present perfect, we describe duration of unfinished situations. Now this, Rosa, I think this is what you were talking about or asking about today. We use the present perfect if we're talking about duration. How long, okay, an unfinished situation or action has been, okay? So if we're talking about months or weeks or days of something that is not finished, we use since, or we use for, and we use the present perfect, okay? Now when we use the present perfect with since or for, that means the action is not finished. And Amit is saying something about I've been to Japan. And right, yeah, that might work. Now, this is something I noticed on, I think, on the Facebook group this week. This very question about present perfect and past simple. So Rose is saying, I have lived in the USA for 3 years, right? So Rose's example in the chat means that she still lives there, okay? All right, so if we use the past simple, we describe the duration of something that is finished, okay? So how long something took, but the action is done, okay? So let's look at an example. SMH is arriving late. That's okay. I would not have known that you were late. You could have pretended that you've been here this whole time. Okay. He has lived in Japan for 3 years. Now this is almost exactly Rosa's sentence, except it's Japan instead of the United States. Rosa is in my head, clearly. Yeah. So he has lived in Japan for 3 years. If you use the present perfect with for or since to talk about how long, this sentence means that the action of living is unfinished. Okay? This person still lives in Japan. Yeah? If you change it to he lived in Japan for 3 years, if you're using the past simple with the duration, you can still use for with past simple, right? But this means that the action is finished. He does not live there now, okay? That's the main difference between present perfect and past simple with duration. Vivek is green with envy for me? You're envious of me? Why? What did I miss? All right. Vivek, you're funny. She has got married 3 times. If you say, Ben Check is saying, I would probably say she has been married 3 times. She has been married 3 times. The question is she dead? No, she is alive. If you say she has been married 3 times, that suggests that she is still living. If she is not living, use the past simple. If somebody's dead, use the past simple. Okay, not the happiest conversation we're having, but for all people who are deceased, no longer living, yeah, you talk about them in the past simple. Okay? Now, Batul, you're asking that question. That's a good question. Now, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, where he has lived in Japan and he has been living in Japan for 3 years. Same meaning, no difference. Okay? So what a nice couple. Yeah, it's nice when I show you a picture of a happy couple, right? They have been married since 2009. So if you see this sentence, they have been married since 2009. This is duration. This is how long, okay? This means they are still married. That's nice, right? Present perfect, since 2009, they are married now. Happily, I hope, yeah? Okay. If, however, you say they were married for 5 years, and you're using the past simple, right? With duration, again, you can use duration for 5 years. Sadly, they are not married anymore. Right? Machine Maid says maybe about the first sentence, they are not divorced yet, which is not the most optimistic sentence. They are not divorced yet. But that is true. Now, second sentence, they have divorced. Okay, they were married, they have gotten a divorce, they are still divorced. Okay? Yes, in the same means they divorced. If you're talking about the second sentence, they were married for 5 years. Well, you guys are asking, does this mean they got a divorce? Well, I think there are two options, not very happy options for either one, but they were married for 5 years either means that they are divorced or one or both of them have died, sadly. Okay? Yeah, it's a sad story, but well, let's just it is a sad story. Forget about that one. Just there we go. That's happy now, right? And I'll just quickly go over that. There we go. All right. So that's the difference with duration. All right. Then now duration of unfinished actions and situations. Now this is a little bit. No, this isn't tricky, but one thing that I should mention too is that, as I said, we use present perfect to describe how long something has continued. Sometimes we use the past simple in a way that means the same thing as the present perfect when we're talking about the length of something. Okay? Present perfect, we talk about how long something has continued. Past simple, we describe when that thing started, but the two ideas could mean the same thing. Nujno, I wouldn't say well, it depends on the context. Nujno for I have been staying and I have stayed. It depends. Okay, so with this, guys, let me show you what I'm talking about. I've known her for 5 years. Present perfect, time expression, right? I've known her for 5 years. Now we're focusing on how long this has continued. But with the past simple, we can express kind of the same idea, but a little bit differently, right? We can say, I met her. I met her 5 years ago. And there's ago again, right? Important to remember, we use ago with past simple, right? We use since with present perfect, but you can't mix those. Okay? Now, Amit, you can't say since 6 months. It would have to be before 6 months. Onkono, he has been unhealthy for 1 year. That's a good sentence. Rosa is saying, can these rules change in advanced level or stay the same? Which rules are we talking about, Rosa? Give me a specific example, and then I'll tell you. Okay? The construction started last year and it hasn't finished yet. Perfect sentence. Good. Now, again, in this case, I've known her for 5 years. I met her 5 years ago. Those sentences mean the same thing. One's with present perfect, one's with past simple. But again, in this case, you're focusing on the continuation of a state verb. Here you're talking about kind of an action verb when something started. Okay? So do I have another example for you? Yeah. We have been in Vancouver since November. Right? I don't know who we are, but here's a lovely picture of Vancouver from Stanley Park in Vancouver. We have been in Vancouver since November. Okay. Boza is saying the two situations mean the same. Somehow they still know each other. Yeah, exactly. They know each other. Exactly. Okay, so we have been in Vancouver since November. That's a great sentence, talking about duration, right? How long? We're still in Vancouver. Yeah, but I can also use the past simple and say we came to Vancouver in November, right? So if you say these sentences to somebody, they have the same meaning. I've been here since November. I came here in November. The ultimate meaning, the basic meaning is the same. It's just a slightly different way of expressing it. Okay? Machine Maid has known Shaun from a past life. Yeah, I thought you looked familiar. Yeah, I know we've met before. Yeah, good. Now, Rosa, the difference between the present perfect and past, can we find exceptions to these rules in the advanced level? Not really. Not what we're talking about here today, Rosa. That's a good question. But these things about, you can't use since with the past simple. You can't use ago with the present perfect. These don't change. I mean, I would say as you get more advanced, Rosa, you realize, as I mentioned before, I think the thing that kind of changes is the concept of finished or unfinished time, okay? When you're at a lower level, you think that you have to use present perfect to talk about today. But as you advance, you realize that time, if it's finished or unfinished, it's a matter of perception, the way you see time, okay? So that's why some people at the lower level will think it's a mistake to say, I had fun today, rather than I have had fun today. But it's not a mistake, if that makes sense. Or maybe I'm just rambling. You let me know. Okay. All right. Jerry, I said exactly what you said. Well, see, it's great minds think alike, right? We're on the same page. Good. Or maybe I just read your answer and stole it. I'm not sure. All right. Oh yeah, so one more thing, guys, and I know we're going a little bit long. We went a little long last week too, but that's okay. We're not going to have time for commas today. We're going to have to wait until next week to talk about comma rules. But when we turn this information into questions, oftentimes present perfect, we talk about kind of how long something has happened, and past simple is when it started, right? So if you look at, for example, let me go into the notes. We're not at mistake of the week yet. What can I tell you? How about this? How long have you been in Vancouver? All right, we're using that how long question, yeah, with the present perfect here. How long? Let me make this a little bit bigger. Now with past simple, we would probably say, when did you come to Vancouver? Or when did you move? When did you move to Vancouver? Right? Now again, in these two sentences, the meaning is the same, really. When you say, how long have you been here, or when did you come here, the meaning's the same, right? It's just two different ways of saying it. And that's the beauty of language. It's such a wonderful thing. So much choice, so many options to be creative with your language, right? Nuj, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Cameron Khan is saying, at night, I can say I had fun today. That's exactly what I mean, Cameron. Yeah, good. Good. Okay, so how about this? Do we have time? Let's do a couple. This is one last thing. Okay, it says change the tense but not the meaning. Okay, change the tense but not the meaning. So change these sentences in tense, but don't change what they mean. So it started raining an hour ago. It started raining an hour ago. It has been raining for 1 hour. Okay, Luciano, you've never been to Vancouver? How long have you, Kono, it should be how long have you taken to kill a chicken? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. How long does it usually take to kill a chicken? I'm not sure. Lewis Hun, it's been raining for an hour. Right. It has been raining. It's been raining. Perfect. Now Rose is saying it has started raining for 1 hour. That doesn't really work because something can't start for the whole hour, right? It starts and then it continues. So start would be the past simple, right? Past simple would be start. It has been raining would be that continuous present perfect. Okay, what about the next one? Let's do a couple of these before we sign off. I'll still give you guys the mistake of the week, don't worry. Okay? Jessica's been in this class for a month. Who's got a sentence about Jessica? Nitesh says Jessica, I'll shorten it up, I'm going to cheat. He said came in this class, came to this class. How about this? That's pretty good, to come, she was in this class. Now, Aaron, you can't say she was in this class a month ago because that means that maybe she's not in the class anymore. And I wouldn't say going to, right? Came to is what Nitesh said, and Slane's as well. She came to this class. How about she joined this class last month? Or a month ago, right? A month ago. Good. Boza Blackbriar said Jessica joined this class a month ago. Perfect. Perfection. Beautiful. Wonderful. Amazing. 3 more. C, how long have you owned this car? How long have you owned this car? How would you change that sentence with when? Change that tense. Rain in Tripoli. Rain in Tripoli says, when did you buy this car? Right. Now, this is really good because own, again, is one of those kind of state verbs, right, that kind of continues. So you're using the present perfect. Buy is an action verb. It happens. You buy something, and then you're finished buying it, right? Now you own it. So you're going to use buy with the past simple. Good. Now, yeah, Ben check, I would say not when did you own this car, but when did you buy the car? Or Aaron says, when did you get the car? Melina, when did you possess your car is a little strange. We wouldn't really say that because possess, again, is kind of that state of ownership. Okay, so I'd say buy. What about how long have you been waiting for me? How long have you been waiting for me? Have you been waiting a long time was Jerry's question. That's good. That's a good question. When were you waiting for me? Not exactly the same, right? How long have you been waiting for me? So you're meeting your friend at Starbucks, at a cafe, okay? You get to the cafe, and your friend is there. You say, how long have you been waiting for me? Slaneas, you got it. Good for you. Ben, check you're close, but not quite. Rain in Tripoli, yeah, that's good. Vivek, you're close, but that last part about waiting doesn't quite work. You'd say when. Lewis, there you go. When did you come here? Maybe. When did you arrive, right? Or when did you get here? When did you get here is the question, right? How long have you been waiting? When did you arrive? When did you get here? Graham, I wouldn't say when did you come for me, because that's not, I don't know if the person is coming for you. Machine Made and Vivek, you guys go towards death every time. I don't know why. Did you, Victor saying, did you come here long ago? Did you come here long ago? It's okay, it's a little awkward. I don't think a person would actually ask that question. Deborah, At what time did you arrive? At what time did you arrive? Good. That's very formal, right? I don't know if I would ask my friend, at what time did you arrive? But that is a perfect sentence, grammatically. And when did you wake up? The last one. When did you wake up? Now, Zainab, you're close with how long. Hey, where's the pretty blue color? And I know I'm going a little bit long here, guys, but I don't know. I just don't want to stop. I'm having too much fun. I'm tricking some of you guys because remember, wake up can't continue. Wake up happens, and then it's finished, right? You open your eyes, you wake up. It only happens for a second. And then you are, after you wake up, what are you? Victor, you got it. Good for you. And Boza, I think, yeah, you got it too. And I think Ben Sheik, you got it too. So when you wake up, you are now awake. That is the state. All right, so you say, how long have you been awake? When did you wake up? How long have you been awake? These two sentences mean the same thing. Slinez is saying, get up. When did you get up? And how long have you been? If you said, how long have you been? People might say, how long have you been up? How long have you opened your how long have you had your eyes opened? 999999999. Yeah? Okay. Good one. All right, good stuff. This is really good, guys. Okay, so I'm running a little bit long, but that's really all I want to talk about with the present perfect versus past simple. Okay, for all the students in my class, the premium subscribers, I'm going to give you some extra homework on that, telling the difference between the two. Vivek saying, when have you woken up? No, but you're not usually going to ask that question. How long have you been awake, Renu says. Right, so you can't say how long have you been woken up. Okay, good. All right, so the mistake is coming. I'll talk about the homework in a minute, but here is, where is it? It's time once again for the mistake of the week. All right, I think I picked an intermediate level mistake, very common mistake that students make. And of course, I'm going to put it up on the screen here for you all to see. If this is your first class, I'm going to put a sentence up here, and you have to find me the mistake. Rosa, you were the Facebook winner? Yeah? Okay. So can you spot the mistake? Can you find the mistake in this sentence? I will put the sentence up. I will disappear. I'll put the monkey music on for 5 seconds, and then the first person to find it is the most amazing student in the world, officially. Yeah, you can put that on your resume. Okay, so here we go. Here is the sentence. All right, find me the mistake. I'm out of here. Oh my goodness, 5 seconds flies by so fast. You guys are champs. This one's not hard enough for you guys. I'm going to have to challenge you next time. I'll get you next time. I'll trick you eventually. Yeah, I'll stump you. But you guys did a really good job. Who is the winner? Who's the fastest student on the internet? Diari, you were really close. Look at that. Vivek is the champion here. So I really enjoy living in Vancouver. There is very beautiful. This is a very, very, very common mistake among intermediate level students. Vivek is the champion, that's right. All right, as I said, he can put that on his resume that he won the Mistake of the Week challenge on January 27th, 2017. Okay. All right, so the problem is the word, where are we? The problem is the word there, all right? There is very beautiful is a mistake because there cannot be the subject of a sentence, right? Even when we start a sentence with the word there, it is not the subject, right? It's what we oftentimes I believe we refer to it as an expletive, but don't worry about that. There cannot be the subject of a sentence. In this case, what you mean is it is very beautiful there. Okay? Right. So Aaron Young, I think you're asking if that's the mistake. That is the mistake, right? So there is very beautiful. There is very beautiful. There is a very beautiful city. That's grammatically correct, right? As long as you know that in that sentence, city is your subject and not there, right? So it is very beautiful there. There meaning Vancouver. It is very beautiful there. Yeah? Exactly. Boza's saying, yeah, it cannot replace the subject. Good stuff. You guys, very nice. Steve Lynn's here. Have you been here the whole time? You've been very, very quiet today, Steve Lynn. Yeah? All right. So, there we go. All right. Let me pop out of the lesson here, gang. All right. So, yeah, I went a little bit long. 15 minutes. That's not too bad. You guys could stay up an extra 15 minutes, I think. You're not too sleepy. So, Steve came for the commas. Yeah, well, that's okay. We spent so much time on the tense that we didn't have time for the commas, but that just means next week. Next week we'll talk about commas, all right, and how to use them, among other things. So, students in my 120 class, premium subscribers, I'm going to send you your homework. Thank you for getting the homework for me. If you have questions, you know that you can contact me about my comments on your work. Keep sending me your questions, because again, this is why we did this class today. Okay? Yes, yeah, it's time for me to go. I have a whole work day to go through now. All right, this is just my warm up, right? Getting ready for the day. Get my coffee. All right, Daniela, what's your question? Why there the sentence expresses the subject is still living in Vancouver? No, Daniela, the problem is that in that sentence with the mistake of the week, the word there cannot be the subject, and that means that sentence has no subject. Steve Lynn's got a bad headache. Well, take a couple Advil and call it a day. All right? Yeah, no apologies necessary. Okay. So, time for me to go, guys. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. We had a lot of people in class today. What was the total? The peak was what? 110? A new record? All right. So we'll see you here same time next time. All right, next week, Friday, 9 o'clock Vancouver time, and I'll be here in Vancouver, Canadian College of English Language, in the studio. And in the meantime, just keep practicing your English. Keep using your English as much as you can. Keep making mistakes. Keep sending me your questions. Keep liking my videos, subscribing, telling your friends. telling your aunts and uncles and cousins. And put some questions up on the Facebook group. And we'll see you here next time. Okay? Have a good weekend. Watch some movies. Use the present perfect. And yeah, take care, guys. We'll see you here next time. All right? Bye for now. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want the full experience of being a student in a Smrt Live class with things like homework and teacher feedback, follow the link and become a premium subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos from this class, check out our playlist.